We'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And, I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But, seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown, how was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't, because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wish I was there live. So to have your so cool and just that, man, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball here. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's so good. It was fun to watch. Yeah, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what get me through the day. I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work, nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE. Pat Donovan, like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Gonna put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna is hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like he got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, nothing happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really, and then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann, and still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then come out and make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod, and here we go. Welcome back, everybody, into the Buccateers podcast. Saturday showdown here. J-Lo Tampa Tones, soon to be joined by Joey Nips, going over all things football, NFL football, college football, fantasy football. Can't get enough football talk on a day like today. Great weekend ahead. Huge loaded slate we have for college. NFL is loaded. Fantasy football out the ass. Bucs injury report update out the wazoo. We have a ton to talk about today, and we're here to talk about it with the great J-Lo per usual. J-Lo, how the hell we doing, brother?
Good, man. We're here for another football weekend. Saturday, Sunday, hell, even Monday. I mean, I'm bricked up, man. I'm ready to talk. Let's do it.
Yeah, we got a great weekend of football. Monday, doubleheader, obviously, surrounding your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So a lot of good stuff here on tap for today. In case you missed it, we had a couple weekly uploads this week of J-Lo's Campus Kickoff show, which is incredible. Go catch that. Gets you ready for the week of college ball. And then NFL towing the line with Joey. And then me and Zach brought you Man Cave Monday. All things memorabilia, and today's show is going to be a great loaded one as well. If you notice the new background music, that is part of Zach and I's show on Monday. Some new music there. Buck Dre's Bolts, how do you feel about the injury report? He asked. I'm assuming about the beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers. J-Lo, we're going to get into that right away, actually. Tristan Wirfs, Chris Godwin returning to practice. Godwin then is absent from practice. I think it was more of a get his feet wet type of practice. I think Wirfs is probably a little bit on a faster track to play. But what's more concerning, J-Lo, has been the Godecki foot injury. Now, don't get me wrong, a couple of things going in the Bucs' direction with Luke Godecki. A, they play Monday, so you get another day of rest. And B, J-Lo, you get, well, I don't want to say hopeful thoughts because of the Vita situation last week, but that's what I'll say. What say you?
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Tristan Wirfs coming back to practice, it looks like he's way ahead of Chris Godwin, as far as coming back. I mean, Tristan Wirfs is superhuman. We all know that. That guy's just amazing what he does. But Luke Godecki, I'm hoping and praying he practiced today. Hopefully it's kind of like a similar to Vita Vea situation. Remember, Vita didn't practice those first couple of days, and then he returned on the third day. So hopefully that's the case. If not, it's going to be really interesting on how they're going to rotate the offensive line, how they're going to set it up. But you know what? I trust, the coaches, the staff on putting it together and getting them ready for Monday Night Football.
Okay, Bud Brian saying we have some audio problems. Please let us know if that is continuing. Might have been the intro music in the beginning because it's a little bit of a new song. But if we're still struggling with audio, let us know right away and we'll try and get that fixed. Our apologies. But J-Lo, how do I sound to you?
No, you sound fine. How about me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound fine. So we'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
B-Shuck, Bud, let us know. Could have been the music, but we'll see. But J-Lo, like the little gator you add, Texans are without their center, tight end, and a couple of other positions as well, brother. Thoughts on the state of the Texans injury report? They say it's still staticky. I'll try and figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, for the Texans, their O-line wasn't really strong from the get-go. They didn't look so hot against the Rams last week as we watched the game. Them losing their center, that's going to cause a lot of headache. It's going to be more fun for Vita Vea to get in there after the quarterback, Elijah Cansey. So it'll be kind of similar to what we saw in week one, seeing the D-line get in after the quarterback with their injury. So that's kind of an evenly match, if you ask me, in the O-line part.
We have JC Allen in the house. JC, how you doing? Sorry, we're working on our audio over here. We got a couple of technical difficulties. How the hell you doing, JC?
Acknowledge me. What's going on, guys?
Grand entrance, buddy. How do we sound on your end? We're getting some audio complaints.
Nah, you guys sound great. Everything sounds great.
Maybe it's you. Let me check in what's going on. But JC, we got a question about the Bucs injury report, brother. First of all, how the hell you been? Secondly, Bucs might be getting Wirfs and Godwin back in the coming weeks. Godecki's got a lot to talk about, my friend.
Yeah, so, it'll be interesting to see with practice today. Obviously, with the Monday night game, practice stretches into Saturday instead of Friday. So we'll get an idea of who's in and who's out here shortly. Practice is about to start shortly. So it feels like, and talking to other members of the media, it feels like this Godecki thing is kind of similar to the Vita Vea injury. Like, practice on Friday, heal up, take this a couple extra days, and we'll see him out there. That's what it feels like. But, of course, we'll know more here soon. Otherwise, Todd Bowles, we talked to him on Wednesday, and he kind of put it out there that, hey, maybe Chris Godwin and Tristan Wirfs could be back this week. After we talked to Tristan, he's like, yeah, no, the plan has always been week 5. We'll see if it comes back a little bit earlier, but I still expect him potentially next week. And for Godwin, I still maintain week 6 is I think when he makes his return. Otherwise, pretty healthy team right now.
I like that. And JC, what do you know? Wirfs playing Monday? He's not playing Monday. I think we could rule that out, right?
I don't think so. I mean, Todd said, we'll see how they recover and respond. But, I mean, this is his first week of football activities. He's not in anywhere near game shape. Like, if for whatever reason Godecki is not able to go and they think a 30% Tristan Wirfs is better than a, 100% Charlie Heck, then maybe. I highly doubt it. And then that'd cause an interesting situation is, does Tristan play right tackle or does he play left tackle? Because Graham Barton has never played right tackle. He's only played left tackle. So you'd probably want him where he's comfortable. And obviously we know Tristan can do both. So, that would create an interesting situation. But again, this is all hypotheticals. I don't think he's going to be back on Monday anyways.
Yeah, it sounds like we're clearing up a bit now. Sorry about the technical difficulties. It is storming over here in the Chicagoland area, so it could have something to do with that, but we'll keep plugging. Yeah, I wouldn't rush anyone back either, right, JC? Like, no need to rush a Godwin or Wirfs back, and the next thing you know, their injury turns into something worse than what it started with.
Right. You let them heal and you let them come back at their own pace. You don't want to try to rush them. It's early in the season. Again, it's another AFC game this week, an AFC game next week. You want to win those games, but they're non-conference, non-divisional games. Like, if you've got to go without those two players after beating the Falcons in week 1, I think you continue to rest those two players, and maybe week 4 they come back against the Eagles, which I think will set up some foreboding, maybe some foreshadowing later down in the playoffs. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is rush these guys back for week 1 or week 2 or week 3 and now have them out missing 4 or 5 more games. It's kind of like go back to Kalijah Kancey, right? His rookie year, he missed time all throughout training camp with that calf strain. They rushed him back for week 1. He played the first half against the Vikings and didn't come back for 4 games after that. So you don't want something like that to happen. And I think they're, especially at wide receiver, I think they're deep enough where they can let Chris take as much time as he needs. And, tackle, you'd really like to have Tristan back out there, especially because it feels like Heck, I don't know if they don't have confidence in him, but, their best 5 out there was not Heck. So it's interesting.
J-Lo, thoughts on what JC just said?
No, I couldn't agree more, JC. I feel like, it's going to be very interesting what they do if Gadecki cannot go. But hopefully he'll show up at practice today, so that way we can get that out of our head and we can stick with the group we have in week 1. And for the most part, I think they performed pretty well in week 1, how they shipped the line. It caught us all off guard for the most of us that didn't know. But I'm pretty confident, like you said, get Chris Godwin the time he needs, the receiving group we got right now, especially for the emergence of Ibuka. I mean, Ibuka showed up week 1. He looked like everything Jason predicted him to be in week 1. So I agree with you 100%, JC.
And JC, we have a question. I mean, the answer seems obvious at this point, but about Charlie Heck and his trust. Obviously, this team doesn't have the utmost trust in him, or else it would have been a different result, probably, of the line last week. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So, I was talking to some of the guys in the line, and they're like, we thought Charlie was doing great. We thought he was playing well. And it's kind of like what I said, like, get the best 5 out there. And Graham did great. I mean, he only let up 3 pressures. One of them was when he was on an unbalanced line, when he was, an extra tackle next to Luke Gedeke. Fun fact about that, I told you guys about this in our chat, but the reason why Graham was laid off the snap on that one was because he couldn't hear the call. So he's sitting down in his stance, and all of a sudden the ball snaps, and he's like, oh crap, things are moving. So he was laid off the snap on that pressure that came through when he was lined up on the right side. But no, I think, with Heck, you hope that he's still even keeled, like that he hasn't lost any confidence. I don't think the Bucs have lost confidence in him, but look, we're talking about a career swing tackle backup, kind of bounced around a few different spots, versus a first-round pick who played left tackle with that athleticism that he has. So when you look at it, and Bowles talked about it, Grizzard talked about it, they started out as an emergency. Okay, if we need someone to play center, Bredesen, can we swing Barton out to the left tackle? And the more they got to look at it, the more they're like, he's got the athleticism to play it. And it was just about getting your best 5. So, should we be worried about Heck? Are we comfortable about Heck? Heck no. Heck no, for lack of a better word. It's Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson. No, you shouldn't be comfortable with Heck out there. But I would expect a lot of 12 personnel this week. A lot of 2 tight end sets, a lot of running back chips before they dip out into the flat or whatnot. Because you got to slow those guys down, and you're not going to have Wirfs back. And you hope you have Gedeke back, but if you don't, then you're rolling with Heck. And even if you have Gedeke back, it's highly doubtful he's 100%. So, it's not a comfortable position for the Bucs to be in, but they will definitely put resources there to help Heck or Barton or whoever against that fearsome pass rush duo they have.
Yeah, Richard says, went to my first college football game last night. UCLA versus New Mexico, had a blast. That was a fun one. New Mexico was like 17, 18-point underdog, something like that. They ended up killing UCLA, won like 35-10 outright. UCLA's really struggling over there. So Olivia Tricia joining us. Olivia says, no pun intended, JC. It's Eric says practice updates at 10:30, right? JC, is that right?
Yeah, I believe practice starts at 10 o'clock today. I'll get that for you right now.
And we're a day behind since it's a Monday, so everything is moving a little bit behind, right?
So Saturday practice at 10:40, so we won't get an update until 11:10 is when we'll get our update. Bulls will confirm who's playing and who's not at 12:10. So we'll get an idea in about 40 minutes if Gedeke's going to be out there. 46 minutes, 44 minutes. Sometimes they cut us off a minute or two early. So we have everything loaded on because we can't tweet anything until after the first 30 minutes. So we're out there loading our tweets out there so we can, as soon as they say, all right, that's it, we just fire them off. So about 11:10, maybe a minute or two earlier, you'll start to get those updates.
What's your gut instinct before we move on to the Texans quick and keep going on the Gedeke injury? Do you think we see him on Monday?
Yeah, I think this is a similar, and I think that was the feeling, talking to guys like Greg and Rick and River and some of the PR guys that, we have a feeling that it's going to be, a similar situation to Vita Vea last week where he practiced this Friday, plays in the game. But I am not out there today. I don't do Friday or Saturday practices.
Yeah.
There's no need to have everyone there. I'll be there usually on Wednesdays and Thursdays for open locker room Baker interviews and stuff like that. But Friday we'll have River Wells, or Saturday in this case. River Wells is out there repping for the BG crew.
Love River, and it looks like we're good to go. I just tuned in on Facebook and YouTube. Looks like the problem should be done. The lag, and I don't know what the hell's going on, but that's technology, right? So thanks for staying with us, the great JCL and J-Lo, myself, soon to be joined by Joey as well. But JC, I want to ask you one last thing here. This time the Texans side of the ball, they don't go healthy into this game either. Sounds like they're going to miss their tight end, potentially their center. Obviously, Joe Mixon's a little banged up. So what do you think Todd Bowles and this Bucs team could potentially take advantage of with the injuries on the Texans side of the football? Because no offense to Nick Chubb, nice little running back too, but he's not a running back one these days, in my opinion.
Yeah, so they're dealing with a bunch of injuries. Their starting center, he's not going to be playing. Jake Andrews, so Jarrett Patterson is going to get the call this week. Cade Stover is out with a foot injury. Broken fractured foot, so he's going to be out. That's going to put Dalton Schultz up and Harrison Bryant in their place. And they're also dealing with 2 wide receiver injuries that are pretty big too. Braxton Berrios, we know how shifty and how versatile he can be in those alignments, not to mention as a returner. And Christian Kirk, the big trade they made with the Jacksonville Jaguars, we know him as like a deep threat, speedy type of guy. So they've got Nico Collins, they've got Xavier Hutchinson, they've got a couple other guys over there as well that can do damage. But if you're the Bucs, you want to, devote resources to taking away Nico Collins. That's going to be, I think, the biggest key to this game for the Bucs. Is I would expect a lot of Antoine Winfield over the top, and try to take him away. He only had 5 receptions for I think like 55 yards or something like that last week on 8 targets. They're definitely going to want to get him more targets, more involved in the passing game, especially with the injuries to some of the other wide receivers. Obviously, no Tank Dell this season either. But, it's going to be difficult because that offensive line, as you said, is not just banged up, Tones. It's not just missing their starting center. they're moving all these pieces around. It looks like Ed Ingram, who was with the Vikings, who was cut, he might be good to go this week. But again, we're not talking about top tier offensive linemen here.
Mhm.
Arante Easley, their second round pick, was a left tackle, is now playing at right tackle. They're just shuffling around a bunch of different pieces on that offensive line. They let up 3 sacks last week to the Rams, and I think the Bucs have a very similar, formidable front, maybe even if not a little bit better with Vea in there, Cansey, Hassan, and Yaya, compared to like the Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. So, sorry. I think they have a real opportunity to put the pressure on Stroud. The biggest thing for them is just he's not Michael Penix. He's a guy who can do some damage with his legs. So making sure you have a spy on him, and when you're getting that rush, you're not giving him open lanes to run through, taking away Nico Collins. And again, I think they'll do a fine job shutting down the run game with Bradley Chubb, who will be their starting running back.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. Bradley Chubb's the pass.
Too many Chubbs, man. One too many Chubbs.
Never too many Chubbs. So yeah, I think that's kind of the way they slow him and the way they stop him.
Yeah, JC Allen with some great stuff there. And we're getting some questions answered. Bud said who's starting at running back for Houston. That's Nick Chubb, the longtime Cleveland Browns tenured running back. Richard says who is the OC for the Texans now. We remember him, Nick Caley. JC, that was a hot commodity in Bucs circles a couple months back surrounding their OC position.
Yeah, and he comes from the McVay tree. He was with McVay, but he also was with the Patriots too. So he's got that dual kind of concept for his offense, and a new offensive coordinator, first-time offensive coordinator, much like the Bucs with Josh Broussard, and his job is just as difficult with a shifting, shuffled, banged-up line. So there's not a lot on him on what the Bucs can go back to and look at. I asked Larry Foote that yesterday, like with a new coordinator, what do you look at? And he said a lot of preseason. We've seen some stuff. Obviously, we watched some stuff that the Patriots and the Rams did, but we talked to Zion McCollum yesterday, and he's like, all of these kind of disciples that McVay disciples, they all run a very similar style offense, but there's all different variances. So they're kind of versed. They go up against it in practice. They're kind of versed on what they're going to try to do to an extent, but it certainly breeds confidence in the defense because there's some familiarity of what they see in practice, what they're seeing here. So it's going to be interesting to see how, he designs the play calls and how the Bucs respond to it.
Yeah, and I love Bucs Rays Bolts, but worried about Nick Chubb. This ain't your grandfather's Nick Chubb of 5-6 years ago. This ain't the prime Nick Chubb. This is a guy who's coming off a couple big injuries. He hasn't really had a big season in a handful of years now. Never been the same ever since his Monday night injury he suffered a couple years back. So to be quite frank with you, nothing against Nick Chubb. I'm not worried about Nick Chubb in this one. J-Lo, 10 seconds or less thoughts on the Nick Chubb thing?
No, you called it. I mean, he's not the same Nick Chubb that we once knew a few years ago. I'll be more concerned about, covering the tight end game with Dalton Schultz. That would be more scary to me than Nick Chubb, if you ask me.
Well, and the thing is, Texans starting tight end is out. It sounds like Stover in this one. So Schultz, is one of those guys who is, again, a little long in the tooth. Not that his best days are a little bit behind him, I would say, but still one of those guys you got to watch out for. Bigger body guy. They have him and Harrison Bryant at the tight end spot, so nothing to take lightly. But with Stover out, that is a big. Oh boy! So is Nick only half Chubb? Oh geez,
that's great. That's great, Richard.
We got the comment of the day from Richard T already right there that we got some slapping going on. Dare Ogunbowale is still their specialty running back and their backup kicker. Let's not forget he has made
good old
kicks.
Dare.
Yeah, remember him? Buccaneer in 2019. He was a captain here actually that year for Bruce Arians and co. So that's some good stuff right there. Speaking of good stuff, Richard provided some good stuff. We got El Monito live on Facebook joining us. We're here on the Buccateers with the great JCL. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe button, turn those notifications bell on, and you'll never miss an episode. We're going to do our Bucs prop bet time to see if we think these Bucs prop bets will hit this weekend. Again, with the game being Monday, it's a little harder to predict if all the lines will be out, if all the good lines will be out and whatnot, but we'll see. We'll get going here, and these are always a fun time. We do rushing yards, passing yards, catching yards, touchdown scores, and all that good stuff. So get your notebook out, write down what we like here on the Buccateers. We did pretty good last week overall, so ready to look forward to that right now. Should I start Igbukah or Bucky in the flex for fantasy? I'd start Bucky because I always go starting running back, and nothing against Igbukah. Great game week 1. But in my opinion, we could see Mike have a great game, and maybe Igbukah still gets, 3 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown. But, JC, I like Bucky Seelan in this one more. But what say you?
I'm going to Igbukah. That's going to be one of my prop bet picks, too. I think they're going to get him lined up against Jalen Petrie in the slot, and I think when you look at that secondary, it's full of playmakers. Kalen Bullock, Derek Stingley. They've got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They have another good corner, Kamari Lassiter. They've got a really good secondary, but I think Jalen Petrie is that weak link, and you can pick on him, get some good matchups on the slot. I think Igbukah probably scores another touchdown this week in that matchup. I know they're going to try to get Evans probably singled up on Petrie as well. I doubt Bullock or Chauncey Gardner-Johnson don't double up then on him when he's in the slot. I think he probably catches some more short, middle, intermediate route stuff against Petrie in that matter. But I can definitely see Igbukah, getting a step on Petrie deep and scoring a touchdown again this week. I think Bucky might have some tough sledding just because the edges are so good. If Gedeke can't go, they have a good defensive tackle rotation, and those inside linebackers are really aggressive with Shahir Abdullah, whatever his name is. And the other guy there, too. I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. But I think that defensive front is really good, and I think they might give Bucky some problems in the running game.
My thing is, and we'll get J-Lo's thoughts here shortly, I always go for who's going to get more touches. And Bucky's touch volume should be at least triple the touch count of Igbukah, if not more than that. So that's why I lean Bucky, because it just takes one touch to make a big difference in a game. And that's why I go Bucky. But JC, I don't disagree with your reasoning either. I just love that Bucky's going to get 15 plus touches probably in this one, where Igbukah might only get 5-6 targets.
Easily 15 plus touches in this. And you're right. He's got the skill, the speed, the looseness, the versatility, the missed tackle ability, forced missed tackle ability to just one catch out the backfield, one run and cut, and he's gone for 40, 50, 60-yard touchdowns. So the upside's there for both of them. I agree with you on the touches factor. I just think I can almost penciling in another Igbukah touchdown. So
I think he scores too. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I could see like a 3 for 40 and a tutty game type thing from him, and that would be great. But J-Lo, you're going to be the tiebreaker here. J-Lo, actually, JC, on our show last week, predicted Igbukah would score 2 touchdowns in our
J-Lo
player predictions. So, J-Lo, you can't screw up now, but you're right in the hot end.
Yeah, pressure's on, dude.
Oh, it is. You can't go wrong with either one of them, no matter who you start. But unfortunately, because of the O-line situation, depending how that goes too, that puts a lot in question, especially with Gadecki. Of course, I would go with Bucky because I think Bucky's going to get the touches. No disrespect to Igbukah, I think he's going to get his touches too, because they're going to double up on Mike, because they always do, because Mike's one of our top weapons, of course. But to me, I got to go with the run game. I think they're going to try to run the ball, kind of balance the offense out to get some play action plays, to get Igbukah the ball, in the slot, like you mentioned, on Petrie. So, to me, I go with Bucky. Bucky will be the one I think will get the touches more, and he'll probably get a tutty himself, running.
JC, you're funny because you make a good point with their linebackers. They do have a hell of a last name linebacker room, probably one of the most complex to pronounce. They got Aziz El-Shahir, then they got Henry Oto, however you pronounce his last name. It's H-O or T-O apostrophe O, T-O apostrophe O. So the Texans have some fun names in their linebacker room, but they got a good defense. We saw that last week with the Rams. I think that game was as Jim Ross would say, an absolute slobber knocker of a game, and I'm interested to see if the Texans defense comes and does the same this week. I mean, they got a great front seven, obviously, Hunter, Anderson, and then the linebacker core will be interesting to see. Is Icewater Olson, the great JT of Bucs Report, saying, sup, y'all. We love our guy, JT Olson. How you doing? Your flag's on the way. I hope you get it in time for the game Monday, JT. You're not that far away from me, so hopefully yours is in today. But if not, I would imagine it's in Monday. So thanks again for playing. And we're actually going to do another giveaway in about after Bucs bets. We're going to let JC Allen do a little fun giveaway. So we're going to give away a Mike Elstott. We're going to give away a Mike Elstott Ring of Honor coin, JC, and you're going to be the one doing the coin toss for it.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so here we go. Bucs bets, and Richard T said Bucs got to win this game. If anything, for Mike Evans, he's never beaten the Texans. The Bucs have historically struggled against the Texans. We haven't beaten the Texans in over 2 decades, so this will be interesting to see. And Todd Bowles definitely has revenge on his mind. Yeah, exactly, Richard 03. But Todd Bowles definitely has revenge on his mind, right, JC?
Yeah, that 2023 game. What a crazy game. Tough loss for the Bucs. They go down there, score, just leave a little bit too much time on the clock, and CJ Stroud, his rookie year, marches them down, and they end up losing that game. But, yeah, this is a big game, especially for Mike, like they say. He's never won there. This is probably his last time playing in Houston, especially, like, in front of, family and friends. I know him and – I'm getting confused. Him and Zion are going to have a ton of people there. I was talking to Zion. Zion's like, I got 25 tickets. He's got 4 local high school athletes that he's bought tickets for and got field passes for. So super cool. Yeah, and I think they win this game and go on 2-0, and Mike gets that win in Houston in front of all of his family and friends there.
I love it. J-Lo, quick thoughts. Todd Bowles revenge game. Todd Bowles is eating his cookies, drinking his milk, staying up late in the studio. And by God, Todd Bowles has mastered the press conference game. Todd Bowles has became a mastermind at how to answer some of these reporters. I mean, I love this guy, man. Just the strides he's taken from his time with the Jets to his year with Brady with the Bucs to the point he is now. Todd Bowles handles the media greatly, but J-Lo, that aside, I think Todd Bowles is just becoming a better all-around head coach. And as JC alluded to, that Texans game a couple of years ago where the Bucs had it in their grasp and they just let it slip through the cracks defensively. Todd Bowles hasn't let that one go, my friend.
No, and you can't blame the man. The man, the defense gave up the game, and he's a defensive-minded coach, so I know he's got some stuff, put together for Monday Night Football. And I agree with JC. I think the Bucs can come out with a win. And Todd Bowles, to me, is getting better and better each game, if you ask me. I think he's getting more confident. You're starting to see more emotion out of him. So I like it. So good chance Bucs win. I agree with JC.
I agree with you as well, J-Lo. You deserve some round of applause there, my friend. Bat says, honest, I think the Bucs will kick the crap out of Houston. I would love that. I don't see that happening. I see us winning. I don't see us kicking the crap out of them. But, hey, if we do, I will surely love that. Like Dumb and Dumber says, I like it a lot. But now we'll move on here to our Bucs bets segment. JC, we're going to start with you here, my friend. As the Bucs haven't lost in week 2 in almost a decade now, and Todd Bowles is
before we get into that, breaking news.
Breaking news.
My sources at practice indicate that Gedeke is in fact practicing.
Gedeke is practicing.
Let's not put that out there anywhere but this show right now.
I'm only putting it out on this show, brother. I'm not.
On this is breaking news on this show. Gedeke is practicing. Looks like he will be a go this weekend. This Monday. So
my fingers can't move that fast anyways, JC, so don't worry about that.
Wirfs is not going to play Bucs race. So, yeah. The official update will be in about, 30 minutes or so, 25 minutes or so. But, yes, according to my sources at practice, Gedeke is out there practicing.
The great and that's why we had a bribe. I had to send JC $80 in Venmo and said, JC, please come on the show. Please, brother. We need you. We need you to give it up. No, I'm kidding. But that's why JC's the best in the business, because he's all over it, my friend. This guy, every day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever the hell day it might be, this guy is all over it. Cleve and me, Joey Rhodes will be on soon. Morning, fellas. Morning to you, Cleve and me. Bucks Rays Bolt says, thank you. Bud Cannibalist says, should I say, heck yeah. You guys are all over it this morning, man. You guys are funny as fuck. I love it. It's really good stuff going on right now. So, Bud, Bucks Rays Bolt, Richard T, all of our guys. This is great stuff. But we are going to get into Bucks bets now. Thank you, JC. That was a well-deserved breaking news update, and we're going to keep that up on the beautiful screen. Richard says, thank God, low-key Gadecki. I love Gadecki. I remember I ran into Luke Gadecki when I was in New Orleans last year before the Bucs Saints game, where they had to go down early to avoid the hurricane and all that stuff. And I'm walking around downtown New Orleans, and all of a sudden, we see Luke Gadecki out there. So Luke Gadecki, literally, he has one Uber Eats box like this in one hand. He has one Uber Eats package like this in one hand, and then he's picking up food as we speak. The guy's just a mammoth monster. Cool dude. You could tell he means business. Just must have eaten 80,000 calories to get ready that night. Just an awesome guy, and very nice guy in person as well. One of my buddies did an autograph signing with him his rookie year. So glad he's back. Luke Gadecki. Here we go, Bucks bets. We'll start with you, J-Lo. We'll give JC a second to catch his breath. J-Lo, the Bucks spread is plus 2.5 for $10 to win $10, or would you bet the Bucks straight up $10 to win $12?
Oh, Bucks all day. I bet Bucks and win a couple extra bucks to do it.
JC Allen, we're going to ask you passing yards. Baker Mayfield over-under sits at 229.5, JC. Do you think Baker Mayfield gets over-under?
I'm going to do under.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
they have such a good secondary, and those guys are going to be coming back. The only way, I don't think there's much opportunity for deep shots. The only way he goes over that, I think, is some big catch and runs and some missed tackles. But they're a very disciplined team when it comes to tackling too, Houston. So I think maybe next week is where Baker breaks out. He might still throw for like 3 touchdowns this week, but I don't see him having a massive passing yards output this week.
And we need that question for next, J-Lo. Do you agree with JC? Baker Mayfield over under 1.5 passing touchdowns. If you bet the over, $10 would win you 11 over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
No, I bet over. I can see him getting 2 or 3 tutties for sure.
JC over under CJ. CJ, how do you like that? CJ Stroud over under half an interception. If you bet on him to throw an interception and he does, $10 would win you 12, Mr. JC. Are you betting on CJ to turn the ball over?
I'm taking the bet. I'm making $2 here. Let's do it. I feel rich now. $2.
Hey, $12. $12 you'd be making, because
you'd be making $12. I thought it was 10 to win 12. So
no, I'm sorry, Ian. 10 would net profit you 12, but
net
the
profit.
$10 bet would
I thought it was 10. You bet 10, you win 12, so you're only getting $2 profit there. I'm taking that. I think the Bucs get a pick this week. Again, the offensive line that they're rolling out there is not good. I can see him coming under pressure, throwing up a duck, and let's go Jamel Dean. Builds off his second game. Good game and gets the pick. Let's do it.
And let's see if interception odds are up yet. I'm not sure. I don't think they are right now, but usually they do post interception odds closer to game day. I would have been intrigued to see what Jamel Dean's were. But from passing to receiving, J-Lo, we're going with you next. Over under Bucky Irvin, 17.5 receiving yards.
I could definitely see that happening. I can see Bucky getting a couple of receptions and taking it up that many yards over.
JC, Kate Otten, tight end 1, is our great friend, Mr. Plus always says, 30.5 receiving yards.
Tight ends weren't featured that much last week. He did have a big miss to him though, like J-Lo on the Buccaneers bet. I think it's going to be a lot of quick, short passes. I think that they're going to have to get the ball out quick. And when you have to get the ball out quick, who are your two targets? The running back out the flat, Bucky Irving, and K. Dotton, the tight end. So give me the over on the 30. I think he'll get that this week.
Richard says, hate to say too, CJ Gardner-Johnson is a buck killer. Yeah, at least he's getting a little older, but he is.
Thank God Chris Godwin's not out there. We should be good, right?
Yeah, that guy, I'm not a big CJ Gardner-Johnson fan, but I regress. So, Bud Cannibalists and bet and perish pick till it happens. I love it. Yep, bet something till it happens. That's the way to go, because the week you don't bet it, it will happen. I'm telling you right now. J-Lo, the great first ballot future Hall of Famer Mike Evans, future Ring of Honor member, over under 69.5 receiving yards against the Houston Texans.
Man, that's tough, man. I'm going to say under, man. I think Stingley's going to give him a thorn in his behind. I think Mike will make his little clutch catches on third down. You know what I mean? On the short passes, quick releases. But 69 yards, I don't think Monday night, no. Under.
Bud's going over. Emeka Egbuka, JCL, and 52.5 to close out our receiving yards segment.
I'm gonna go. I'll go over on that. Again, I think you talk about quarterback's best friends. You talk about the slot receiver. You talk about the tight end. You talk about the running back. It's gonna be a lot of quick stuff. So I think maybe nothing that gets him there on one play, but it's gonna all add up.
I love that answer. I'm in agreement with you there. J-Lo, from receiving to rushing. Rachaad White over under 11.5 rushing yards in this contest, J-Lo. He's still kind of working his way back to full-time playing from his preseason injury.
That's an interesting one because Rachaad looked pretty good last week. He almost took one to the house if that one tackle didn't happen with his foot. So I'm going to say over. I think he'll get a good amount, over 11 rushing yards. I like that bet. Give me Rachaad White over 11.
Richard, I'd have to say Bucs O-line versus Texans D-line, because Texans O-line is a lot of new faces and new places. They had to gut their system the past couple of years. So I personally say the Bucs O-line versus Texans D-line is more prominent. JC, Bucky Irvin, 65.5 over under rushing yards.
I'm going to the under on that. I don't like the Bucs running game this week. I think it's, to piggyback off what you just said, it's the flip situation, right? I like the Texans D-line over the Bucs offensive line right now with all the injuries, and I like the Bucs D-line against the Texans O-line right now. So I think it's going to be tough sledding for them to really get the running game going. I'll be shocked if it isn't, but you saw what the Falcons did last week, and their defensive front is far inferior to what the Texans bring.
I like that. Interesting enough, no Baker Mayfield rush line out yet, so we'll see what his rush line is, but that was a popular one last week. I think it grew from like 10.5 to 16.5 just based in a matter of moments before the game. So we're going from that. Now it's time for the fun ones in my book, the guys who get into the end zone, the guys who really make the money on Sundays and Mondays, the touchdown scorers, and we always segment them to see who you would bet on out of the handful of the guys. We go from the upper end dogs to the mid dogs to the underdogs to, hey, who might you put a couple bucks on to win you the big bucks? So J-Lo, out of the big wigs, quote unquote, which of these three would you bet for a touchdown? Bucky Irving, $10 to net profit you $10. Mike Evans, $10 to net profit you $15, or Emeka Egbuka, $10 to net profit you $17.
I'm gonna go with Emeka Egbuka. I like his odds more than the other two.
JC, what medium alley route would you go? Would you bet $10 on K. Dotton to get in the end zone to net profit you $35? Would you bet $10 on Rachaad White to get in the end zone to net profit you $50? Or would you bet $10 on Baker's friend Sterling Shepard to net profit you $60?
Let me go with the 50. Give me a Rachaad White. I think if, again, going back to what the Bucs are going to need to do, those quick short passes to running backs, to slot receivers, to tight ends. I think we could see maybe 10, 15 yards out. Rashad take it and swing it up the field. Again, last week he would have had one. They executed the screen game perfectly last week on that play. He just got roped down from behind. So I can see him breaking out and getting a big one.
I like your thought there. I do agree with that. I think Rashad will get a handful more touches this week, a little healthier as well. J-Lo, the moderate underdogs, Baker Mayfield to rush 110 would not profit you 95, or Payne Durham to make his way into the end zone 10 would win you 90.
I'm gonna go with Baker. I can see Baker scramble one in. Kelly, we did last year to Detroit. Just do like a QB sneak. So give me Baker Mayfield.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna bring the Payne because I was gonna be on board. I think Payne gets a touchdown this week. He does.
I want to see it. Payne
was
a machine in college. I don't see why, but
I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but Baker does have that leg sleeve on as well.
Yeah.
So.
I think Payne showed he could be a red zone threat last year. They're going to be a lot of, 12 personnel. I can see a little 6-yard leak out and him getting a touchdown. I could see it.
Dude's a playmaker.
JC, you get the second to last tier of underdogs, and J-Lo ends with a fun one. But JC, you get Sean Tucker, $10 would win you 170. Tez Johnson, $10 would win you 150. Or Cameron Johnson, $10 would win you 170, which, by the way, we had a question about special teams. I was very impressed with the Bucs return game last week. Cam Johnson looked very effective back there last week. But JC, what say you? Tucker, Tez, Cam.
Is this an anytime touchdown?
Yup, anytime touchdown.
If I'm going to spend some money on these three guys, give me Cam Johnson for the return touchdown. 54 yards last week. Can he bring one to the house this week? We'll see. But if I'm going to gamble and put some $10 down on any three of those guys, give me Cam Johnson for the return touchdown for the win.
I think that question pretty much, JC, is do you think who has the best odds? Cam of getting a punt return, Sean of getting a kick return, or Tez of getting one of those gadget play touchdowns? So, you just have to think what you think is the best, as Joey Nips will be welcomed in here momentarily. But J-Lo, last touchdown scoring question. Ryan Miller, 10 would win you $220. Or Co Keefe, 10 would win you $280. Say it ain't so, Co. Say it ain't so.
I'm going to go with Co Keefe. I think he's due for a tutty. I think him and the personnel line up in the goal line. Give me Co Keefe in the end zone, baby. I'm betting 10 on that. Let's go, Keefe.
I love it. Bud Cannibalist says Tez in the tier with Tez in it. So there we go. The beauty of these things is it's all, speculation. You never know who might rise to the top for this. Richard says he thinks Chase bounces back with 5 field goals. That would be
That's crazy.
Something. Yeah, I hope we don't kick 5 field goals, Bud says. That's funny. Joey, first of all, welcome into the program, brother. And JC had that on standby, man. And then, Joey, second of all, Chase McLaughlin over under 6.5 total points off the leg of him.
All gas, no brakes. Give me the over on Chase McLaughlin.
I love it, Joey.
Yeah,
we're nearing a cage match here between JC Allen and Joey Nips. That'll be extra $5.99. Instead of watching that boxing fight tonight, tune into Buccateers Fight Night. Joey
Is J-Lo
Nips.
the special guest referee?
No, J-Lo's a lumberjack. I'm the referee, so it's a lumberjack. J-Lo the lumberjack. We're gonna have to get him some,
I'll get your theme music pulled up then. Tones.
Yes, there we go, J-Lo. We're gonna have to get you a flannel and everything, my friend. So there we go. JC's working on the theme music there. But fellas, that is Bucs Bets. Like I said,
here's Tones. Oh.
Bobby Roode. Let's ride, baby.
Tones.
What a start for me to get in here. I tell you, I'm all bricked. I'm bricked.
Tones. It's glorious.
Thank you. And now we're going from our wrestling auditions back into the Buccateers podcast. But that was some fun stuff, and we appreciate everybody staying tuned with JC, Joey, Nips, J-Lo, myself, and battling through some early technical audio. And we're here having a great time. Bud, Richard, our guy Christopher Cole, Bucks Rays Bolts, Olivia, Trisha, the rest of the chat as well, getting text from a Minneapolis sports bar about the game of the night. I'm not in Minneapolis anymore, so please stop texting me. I'll have to get off your subscriber list, but that's okay. And we're here to rock and roll with the Buccateers. Joey, you made it just in time for score predictions and player of the game predictions. Monday Night Football, you know Houston here very well. You're rooting against them, obviously, as they're in your division. Right now, the Colts and the Jaguars tied atop of the AFC South at 1-1 apiece. Texans and Titans looking behind them in the rear view, one game back. Joey, this is a big one for not only the Houston Texans, but Colts fans will be keeping a big eye on this one. Thoughts on Bucs Texans, 7 o'clock Eastern on ABC, ESPN, Monday Night Football, and your player of the game for the Bucs?
Oh yeah, this will be the Bucs payback for sure for the last time they played when Stroud did his thing in like 40-something seconds. That offense, listen, is not as explosive. I know they went up against a good Rams defense in week 1, but the offensive line is shaky. And outside of Nico Collins, there's not a lot to be afraid about, if I'm being quite frank on that. So I think the Bucs just got to do what they do on defense like they did against Atlanta for the most part, and they'll be able to limit that a little bit more. And then offensively, just, it was a little choppy in that first half to me, right? The second half, they got things together more. I think the Bucs can do that from the get-go. Now, their defense is really good in Houston, so that won't be a joke to mess around about. But I think the Bucs squeak this one out. I'll go Bucs 24, Houston 16, and my player of the game will be, I'm going to go with Big Mike Evans. Ibuka got his fun in week 1. A lot of people are talking about the running game, but against a good defense, the stars show up the most, and Mike Evans is the biggest star on that field. So give me Mike Evans 26 or 24-16 win.
And as we alluded to, he's right around the Houston area, grew up in Galveston, Texas, which is only a stone's throw away from Houston. So going to be a big emotional game for him. Real quick, Bat W says it's a new kicker ball. I don't know about that, but I will say I've noticed a plethora of missed kicks. Young Hui Koo missed a couple Thursday night between McManus and Matt Gay. They both missed some. Ravens kicker Tyler Lute missed an extra point last week. So I'm not giving McLaughlin the benefit of the doubt necessarily, but I did notice an uptick in missed kicks over the past couple of days. So we'll see if it carries over into week 2 throughout the NFL, or if Chase McLaughlin rebounds himself. But I did notice an uptick in missed kicks. Richard says 29-17. Your player of the game is Chase McLaughlin then, if we're getting 5 field goals. So good stuff there. Bud says Zion Emeka is his player of the game. JC, score prediction, your player of the game, thoughts, and everything, my friend.
Yeah, so this is going to be a tough matchup for the Bucs. When you look at certain aspects, the Bucs definitely have some advantages, but then you look at the Texans and they have some advantages too. We've already talked about the offensive line for both, which I think is going to be an advantage for both teams. It's just about how consistently you can put together drives and move the ball down the field. I feel like the Bucs just have more weapons right now at the disposal, even though they're missing guys. And I feel like Baker just has a little bit more poise, some calmness to him than he's had in previous years, as Stroud is kind of just still figuring stuff out as he goes into year 3. He was the most sacked quarterback, 52 sacks one of the most sacked quarterbacks, not the most, but one of the most, 52 sacks last season. They've only downgraded their line by getting rid of Tunsil. He's had over 41% of his dropbacks were pressured. It's going to be hard for him, I think, to complete passes. I think the Bucs have a better defensive front than the Rams do at this point. So I think it's going to be a struggle bus for them to move the ball. I think it's going to be difficult for the Bucs to consistently move the ball too if they can't get adequate blocking up front, whether that's in the run game with those athletic linebackers that will fly down, come into the gaps, and D'Amico will blitz those guys too, or whether it's those edge rushers collapsing the pocket. So I don't think this is going to be a very high-scoring game. I've been going back and forth on my score prediction here. I don't think America is going to have a great time watching this game. I think it's going to be very slow-moving at first. I have the Bucs winning right now, 23-17. We'll see if that changes as injury reports come out here in a couple hours. But and I think the player of the game, will be Hassan Reddick. I think he'll get 2 sacks this game and really prove to everybody that the Bucs, really what they've missed the last couple of years, has been a dominant edge rusher. And now that they have one, it's time to really kind of put them. And that was one of the biggest questions with the Bucs coming into the season, right? Do they have enough? Do they have a guy who can disrupt games on the defensive side of the ball as an edge rusher, other than Vita Vea and Antoine Winfield and Levante? And I think Hassan Reddick makes his presence felt after getting a sack last week, missing about 3 of them. I think he grabs 2 this week against the Texans as they win the game and go to 2-0 in the season.
Yeah, and Reddick looked fresh last week. He looked crisp. He looked like he had some very good pass rushing moves. I like that pick a lot, JC. I'm glad that the Bucs went out and addressed getting an uptick in an elite edge rusher. So JC, Joey, Bud, Rich T on the Bucs train. J-Lo, are you continuing that trend? What's your score? Who's your player of the game so far? We got Mike, Reddick, Chase, Zion, Emeka, some of the nominees.
No, give me the Bucs. I think they win 27-17 over Houston. Like JC said, O-line for the Texans is not very good, and I feel like we're going to take full advantage and pick off C.J. Stroud twice. And I was going to go with McCollum, but it was taken. So I'm going to go with Jamel Dean. I think Dean gets a pick to seal the game, to keep them from making their comeback. And Dean's my MVP. Everyone's down on this man. He had a good game last week. Not the best, but he had a good game. And I think he's going to shut the fans up when it comes to picking on him, on his corner and coverage and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like that. And I think Dean had a pretty dang good game last week for what the fans were saying about him, for the crap he was getting. I think Dean played well, and obviously he slipped at that one point, and he did have that face mask call against him. But outside of that, he kept everything underneath, everything in front of him. Falcons didn't really get any big plays outside that Bijan opening drive touchdown, which was a blow in coverage by Servachier Dennis, it appeared. And
that's Fred Warner would have difficult making that tackle in space. Bijan Robinson's a special athlete.
I agree, but
the other one where he came in and was trying to, didn't take Bijan up the right sideline when he went. I think he went for 23 yards on that one. And Bowles said, he got greedy looking for the sack. Like that one, I'll give to Voss. And there's a couple other passes he lit up too. But I mean that 50-yard. Coming with that angle and trying to bring down. Maybe he could have taken a better angle, but that's still one of the best running backs that we've seen, period.
I agree there, but since he was the first line of attack and no one really came close to the guy after that, it seemed like. So sadly, maybe it wasn't his fault, but I would, appreciate if he was at least in position to make a little bit better of a play. But they did do a good job on Bijan the rest of the game after that, it seems. So, and I will say, Dennis rebounded well. He played well in the second half, and only so much you could do when a team gets 8 plays from inside a 5-yard line. I thought the Bucs handled that tremendously. And what a bullshit thing, right? Oh, he gave himself up. To me, then it should be like a slide. If you count diving as giving yourself up, you should mark the football where you begin the dive. Just like when they say sliding's giving yourself up, they mark the football where you start your slide. So that doesn't really make sense to me. To me, the Bucs got screwed on that one, but they still ended up winning the game. And Servachier Dennis made a nice little play there.
Some practice updates. Chris Godwin returned to practice today after having yesterday off. while Tristan Wirfs did not practice today. Fair to say he will not play on Monday. Fair to say Godwin will not play on Monday. But as they continue to ramp up, Wirfs had today off. Godwin was back after having yesterday off. Other than that, this Bucs team is completely healthy outside of Godwin and Wirfs, and it looks like everyone should be in play for Monday. So the inactive list should be, outside of Chris and Tristan, should be all healthy scratches.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wirfs and Godwin didn't anticipate them playing regardless, but it's good to see them practice and good to see them getting their feet wet. Happy college football Saturday indeed. Great news there, JC. I'm going to go 31-24. I think Bucs win this one. And my player of the game, I've seen him getting double teamed a ton last week. I'm going to go with Kalijah Cansey. I think he busts through the line, gets a big sack in this one. JC texted in JC Allen sighting. Yes, sir. But yeah, I like the pick. And again, I think Jamel Dean played a real nice game last week. And JC, did you see the same with Jamel Dean? I know he had a couple of bad mishaps and plays, but outside of that, I think he played real well.
The Bucs don't win that game without Jamel Dean. I'll tell you that right now. Those two plays that he made down at the goal line there and that. And then they still scored. I get it. But he made two giant plays there and then another giant play later in the game with just excellent coverage when they were trying to take that deep shot towards the end. I think it was to Casey Washington, just an excellent coverage. I think Jamel Dean, when he's asked to play press man, and Todd Bowles said as much, is some of the best press man technique that he's seen since Jamel's been here. And that's always been Jamel's strong suit, is playing press man coverage. You go back a couple of years ago when they were playing more of it because they relied on their players more, because they had more trust in their players back there. And the overall defense, he was the best cornerback in the league, rated out as best quarterback in the league in press man coverage. So when he's playing to his strengths, which is that type of coverage style, there's not many better cornerbacks in the league. But the Bucs like to play a lot of zone, and that's where he'll struggle, is in zone coverage sometimes. So I thought he played a fantastic game. I told him as much this week. I actually texted him after the game and said, lights out, man, because he's been getting the raw end of the stick, from fans, and I get the health situation, but when you take a dive and look at the numbers, and he's been a really quality cornerback, and someone's going to get themselves a steal next year when he hits the free agent market.
Yeah, JC, I couldn't agree with you more. Me, Zach, J-Lo came on Monday, Tuesday, early in the week. We applauded the Jamel Dean played. He played incredible, and his cap number is so low now that he restructured his contract. Just great to see a guy like Jamel Dean want to stick around for that price, and I'm really happy that he is sticking it to a lot of these Bucs fans who give him undeserved hate. Let's not forget, it's not his fault when he lines up 10 yards off of a guy that's called the scheme. It's not Jamel Dean. It's called the scheme. So some fans have a hard time grasping those concepts, and they just spew hate towards Dean for no reason.
Hate the Dean, hate the scheme.
Exactly. That's just what it is there. But we'll see. And it's something that players have to deal with, sadly. But Richard says, happy for Jamel. He's a good character indeed. We'll get back to Bucs talk here in a bit, but we'll go to our Colts corner now as they face a familiar face in the NFC South. Sean Payton and co. Now he's in Denver, obviously, but 4 o'clock Eastern game tomorrow. Colts hosting the Denver Broncos. Joey will actually be in attendance at that game in Indianapolis. Going to be a good time. Should be a good battle of a couple of better defenses in the AFC. But what say you, our Colts corner? And we'll go with you.
Yeah, and before I get to that, there was a lot of haters coming into the season. I'm going to take my kudos while I can. They're even in this chat. There was a lot of people very down on the Colts, and it's only 1 week, but we had the biggest margin of victory in week 1. I don't care what Miami is. They're an NFL football team. We won 33-8 with Daniel Jones, who people put off the face of this earth.
I do want to see more than one game out of him.
Yeah, obviously, but here I am still going. Dr. Lou Anaromo is the D coordinator.
Just saying.
Really revved up the engines and made Tua confused. One thing Tua was great at is getting the ball out quickly and making plays, and we took away his first read at all times. He wasn't able to get those short passes by the confusion on defense, so I really loved the mix and match at home in week 1. broke a good streak there. We're at 1-0, and now we got another home game, as Tone said, in a whiteout tomorrow against the Little Horses of Denver. A lot of people want to pronounce Bo Nix as this great thing. I think he's closer to Tim Tebow than he is to John Elway, as some people made him out to be this offseason. So I'm looking forward to getting after it. Now, we do have a little bit of injuries on the cornerback situation with Charvarius Ward, one of the top corners in the league. It was in concussion protocol, so sadly he will miss this one. But everybody else pretty much healthy, and I'm looking forward to a good game. Denver has a good defense, but we're ready to match that challenge. If people remember one of the infamous plays from last year, the Colts were winning, and Jonathan Taylor had a fumble at the goal line where he dropped it a little bit before, and the game was downhill from there when we had it in hand in the third quarter. So I'm looking forward to it in our house this time. And it's going to be a battle. There won't be any, just like the Houston defense, the Broncos defense, legit. If you've seen in fantasy, two of the top defenses always taken. So I'm looking forward to a battle. And Jonathan Taylor this week, Danny Dimes was it last week. He had some career statistics for himself, but this week we need a big one out of Jonathan Taylor. I'd like to see him over 4 yards per carry and really can open up things. And same with Warren, who was already a dominant tight end on display for a rookie. So I'm really looking forward to this game. And you got to prove it week to week. As you mentioned, I'm just, I'm staying on all gas, no brakes for the Colts.
Yeah, this is a really good measuring stick for the Colts because the Dolphins, they look like the worst team in the NFL last week. Not to take anything away from, but they gave up on that coach. I think he'll be gone by week 7 or 8 at this rate. Tyreek Hill looks like he's uninterested in playing a football game. The Colts just tore him up, and Miami should be embarrassed. This is pretty much their season this week. If they lose, they're going to get ran out of the building. The Colts are going to play a good game this week. But Denver will be a real challenge, a real test, a real measuring stick. So I'm interested to see how Danny Dimes looks against this defense. You have Zach Allen coming off the edge. Bucs fans had a deal with him last year. He's a very underrated edge rusher in this league, if I must say. Dre Greenlaw is out, so that's a big plus. But Pat Surtain is nothing to joke about. They got couple other Talona Hufanga is a nice strong safety they have back there. So this defense is going to come ready to roll. Colts defense is going to come a little banged up, but they still played a hell of a game last week. This one's going to be physical. Daniel Jones last week played a hell of a game, but I've seen about 2 throws that were dropped interceptions, which happens weekly, but you can't be doing that against the Denver defense. They will take advantage of something like that. So I'm interested to see how Jonathan Taylor plays this week. I think he rebounds with a good game, got a little banged up last week. Tyler Warren, man, he might be top 3 tight end by the time in the NFL by the time midseason hits. He's already getting open on all his routes. As I said, if he does it against Denver as well, I know Dre Greenlaw is out, but that's even more tip of the cap to him. And we'll see, but I do like the Colts' chances at home. Denver's a sneaky team. They are playing in a Denver-friendly time zone as well, 4 o'clock Eastern, right? That's usually a Broncos kickoff time. But I do like the Colts to out physical Denver in this one. And we'll get to score predictions here in a second. J-Lo, quick thoughts on the Colts-Broncos game tomorrow?
It's going to be a good defensive game. I definitely think Denver's a way better team than Miami, of course. Miami is not a very good team, but Denver – it will be much more of a challenge, but give me JT, man. Jonathan Taylor, man, pound the rock, man. Give him the ball, give him the rock. He looked really fresh until they pulled him for precautionary reasons. I'm pretty sure he's not injured, right? Is that correct, Joey?
He's fine. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I think he's going to be a big part of their offensive game to get the ball moving, to kind of take a little pressure off Daniel Jones when it comes to throwing the ball.
Yeah, I think they checked him for concussion, but he cleared it, obviously, or something along those lines. So all good there. I think he's going to get a lot of touches tomorrow. I really do think he's going to get maybe 20. I could see him getting up to 20 touches, Jonathan Taylor. JC, thoughts on Sean Payton against Shane Steichen tomorrow in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I definitely think Tyler Warren probably builds on his first game here. But Michael Pittman Jr., he doesn't even exist anymore with Patrick Surtain on him unless they try to get him off of him. But Broncos by 30.
The Broncos by 30?
Broncos by 30. Not by 30, but I just think the Broncos are a better team than the Colts right now. I like what the Colts did last week. I like a lot of their pieces on both sides of the ball. I just think the Broncos are a better team right now, and I think they'll get the job done.
Yeah, Joey, thoughts, score prediction, player of the game?
Yeah, that was a poor prediction, and I also think Miami will win tomorrow too. They're home against New England.
Yeah. All right. Well, shots fired back and forth. Get out of here.
Book it there. After
you picked my team to lose? Miami's gonna beat the Pats.
No, I just was looking at that -1.5 Miami. They're still a favorite. But going back to the Colts game, they are going to have to run it more. I mean, Danny Dimes got that Nickelodeon where I forgot they still do the slimy, whatever, for the kids out there. But I think it is going to be a Jonathan Taylor football game where, Pittman even had a good week last week. Shout out to him on a nice touchdown grab. That was because Warren takes people away over the middle. He could draw two guys in sometimes. So we're going to get, just like you guys are going to get revenge in Houston, I think and know we're going to get our revenge on Denver. I'll go Colts 24, Broncos 17. And my player of the game, I am going to stick with Jonathan Taylor. I think he was able to expose a good Denver defense last year. I think he can do it again. Just hold on to the damn football before the goal line. And we come out 2-0 and we get to 24-17. And yeah, I'll be pumped up leaving that stadium, getting ready for some Sunday night football where Atlanta will lose again. So bricked up, ready to go. We're the big horses. They're the small ponies.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 17-14 Colts win. I don't think either team spews much offense in this game. Again, I think we see a meddling Danny Dimes with a great running game. And I think Jonathan Taylor gets in the end zone once. I think Danny Dimes might even run a touchdown in because he does have really good – his ground game's underrated to me. He doesn't get enough credit for what he could provide with his legs. So I think Colts win an ugly one, but I think a win's a win nonetheless, 17-14 in a defensive juggernaut battle. A bruiser, you're going to call this one. And I'm going to give my player of the game to the Colts O-line as a whole. I'm going to say the Colts O-line does a really nice job against a really tough Broncos front seven, gives this running game some gaps, gives Jonathan Taylor and Danny Dimes some gaps to run in. And I think this Colts team just punches the Broncos in the mouth and say, hey, we're going to out-physical you folks and escape here with an ugly but a pretty win. J-Lo, what say you to end the Colts talk? Then we'll get into more football talk as we are here with college football week 3 and NFL week 2.
No, I'm going to say Colts 20, Broncos 17, and I think Kenny Moore will be the MVP. He'll pick off the quarterback to seal the game when they're trying to drive to win, and Kenny Moore gets the game-sealing pick to end it.
And what was your score, J-Lo?
2017.
Love it, love it, love it. So there you go. JC on the Broncos, me, Joey, J-Lo on the Colts, and then Joey stabs JC and says, I'm going to pick the Dolphins over your Patriots right away.
I honestly did not know I was confused for a second. I did not know he's a Patriots fan. That's on me.
Well, he does a good job of
So I did the prediction without knowing any hate.
Yeah, whoever loses that Dolphins-Patriots game tomorrow, their fan base is going to be freaking out.
To be honest,
is it in Miami?
Yeah, it
is.
Oh, yeah, Miami's going to win then.
You think so?
The Patriots suck in Miami. They are just fucking terrible.
Yeah, but it's a new year, bud.
That don't matter. New year, same results. They're awful in Miami. They're awful in Miami.
All right, well, there's that.
Miami Miracle, like Brady, I think his only losing. He's got like 3 losing records against teams in their stadiums, and Miami's one of them.
All right, so there you go. JC predicts his own team to go down, so we're not going to argue.
You can't even be mad at me.
I'm not. I thought they're at home for whatever reason.
I do agree with Bud Cannibal, so Vrabel. I think Vrabel gets him over the top in tomorrow's game. We'll see, though. We'll see. But I do think Mike
Vrabel didn't get him over the top against the Raiders.
Yeah, but that was week 1. A lot of things are different. Pete Carroll was, vibing high. Geno Smith had a team give up on him. I think that was a more emotional win for the Raiders than it was a lack of focus for the Patriots. But time could tell. Miami could easily win by 10+. So who the hell knows? That game's really a damn toss-up in my opinion. I don't really have a great feel on that game, to be quite frank with you. But we're going to move on here to college football spread-em. NCAA football week 3 is here, ladies and gentlemen. We got an absolutely loaded slate today in the world of college football. As Richard says, he'll be rooting for the Colts, but he did pick Denver, so we'll see how that goes there. But it is our college football spread-em time, where we go into the world of college football and go over the spreads, the ins, the outs, all about. And Joey, our guy Mr. H, his daughter gets married out in Nebraska today. We have a lot of Big Red listeners as always, but I'm sure they're jam-packed at that loaded, beautiful wedding out there in Nebraska, so probably can't tune in this morning. But Joey, thoughts? We're going to give you the Big Red game. Nebraska minus 49 against Houston Christian at noon Eastern.
Yeah, that's the only holy thing happening for Houston Christian. It's like, Jesus Christ, did they copy the Yukon symbol and get their team jerseys from the Little Sisters of the Poor or something? Nebraska by 50 million on the big day in Nebraska. Parents are there for a great family wedding. I just think they upend them. Sox only. Nebraska massive win in the state of the red.
Wow. So there you go, Houston
I mean, I
Christian.
literally thought that was UConn. What a joke, Houston Christian with creativity.
Yeah, some of the, and it's actually more common than you think if you look at a lot of those, like
the Panthers. There's a ton of Panthers out there.
South Carolina State looks exactly like South Carolina. It's crazy. It's just wild. But J-Lo moving on. Clemson minus 3, number 12 ranked Clemson at Georgia Tech, noon Eastern. Clemson minus 3, J-Lo.
Give me Georgia Tech with the upset because Clemson's not that good. They showed their true colors last week, barely winning a game against a bunch of soccer mom teams. Give me Georgia Tech with the win.
JCL in Wisconsin representing the Big Ten. They're getting 19.5 points as they travel to 19th ranked Alabama at noon Eastern.
It's not your mom and dad's Alabama. Can they beat Wisconsin by 19 points? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough.
I don't know. It's tough. I'll say no.
I like
no.
that.
I don't think they'll beat them by 19. Give me Wisconsin the points.
Big 10 right there, baby. Love it. Joey, noon Eastern, 23rd ranked Michigan at home in a mini rivalry against the Chippewas of Central Michigan. Our guy JT Olson, the Chippewa fan, he's been in here chatting about it.
Yeah, enjoy kickoff in the first quarter because Michigan came off of a really bad performance last week. I mean, let's be honest, they didn't look good under the lights, especially on offense. This week, I think they fixed that. Again, I hope the Chippewas do stick around. I never mind seeing a Michigan loss as a Irish fan, but I think the Irish Michigan finds a big way to bounce back and gets the victory. And maybe Central Michigan with the backdoor cover. I'll give you that. I'll give you Central Michigan with the backdoor cover.
There you go. Our guy Icewater Olson is probably cheesing out there after hearing that. Our own brother from Bucs Report. J-Lo, 12:45 p.m. Eastern, South Alabama, plus 25.5 at the House of Auburn, and Hugh Freeze ranked 24th in the country.
I say give me the cover for Auburn. I think they'll cover it.
JC, number 13th ranked Oklahoma, coming off a huge win against Michigan, is at Temple, minus 23.5 points.
Yeah, give me the points. I think Oklahoma will cover that.
I like that.
Sorry, Bulls. Sorry, Bruce.
Yeah,
not happening this week.
I think I tend to agree with you there. That doesn't seem like enough points. I wonder if the weather's off there or something, because that point total just doesn't seem like enough. Joey, you get Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, plus 27, traveling to 25th ranked Missouri. Missouri minus 27. That game's at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I like Missouri's QB. He's had a good year to this point. In terms of Louisiana, I don't know jack shit about the Raging Cajuns right now. So I'm going to go with that high-powered Missouri offense. Give me them in a big win.
Whenever I
J-Lo.
hear Raging Cajun, I just think of the end of Old School when they're doing the debate.
Yeah.
What happened? I blacked out.
Dude, that movie's a classic. For those that are unfamiliar with Old School,
Where you been?
I think you live under a rock because that one is just classic. I always think of Cajun fries, you know, the Cajun fries when I hear Raging Cajuns. And Billy Napier probably comes to J-Lo's mind because he loves them so much. So that's probably who comes to probably that one. But J-Lo, number 2 ranked in my team, Nittany Lion in the country, the men of Penn State, minus 48.5 against Villanova, 3:30 Eastern. This is Penn State's only non-bowl eligible opponent of the season.
I think Penn State will cover that for sure. They kind of struggled a little bit at first against FIU last week, even though they left any points. But I think they do a lot better and just pound the crap out of Villanova.
That's crazy. 48 points. Villanova's still an SEC team.
Dude, I took Indiana State spread last night because they were getting like 50, and it wasn't even close. Some of these things are bloodbaths.
Do you think this is going to be a bloodbath?
I think Penn State needs a bloodbath. Like, yeah, they won 30
points though, Toms.
They won 34-0 last week, but as J-Lo said, they kind of limped to those last couple of touchdowns. The week before, they looked very sharp against Nevada, I will say, but I think this is a week they could really win by 50.
Villanova's a basketball school. Penn State needs this big win. They let FIU hang in there, others hang in there. I think they get that.
JC, you going with the points?
Yeah. That's a big spread.
That is a big spread. And Penn State, I say it every week, they don't really blow people out, but we'll see if they can today. They always play Villanova. It's a little friendly battle there. 3:30 Eastern, Joey, one of the games of the day, if not the game of the day. 6th-ranked Georgia travels to 15th-ranked Tennessee. Tennessee +4 at home.
It's a great day to be a Tennessee Volunteer, and we are going to go. I do like the points. I think they even win this game straight up. Again, I mean, they have a good passing attack with Aguilar and then Thomas on the ground. I feel that they're going to get this win against the Bulldogs of Georgia, and they'll win by 3, Tennessee.
JCL and Oregon State Beavers +23.5 at 21st-ranked Texas Tech at 3:30 Eastern.
Is their special teams fixed? No. I think they're gonna. I don't. Give me Texas Tech. Give me the Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
The Oakland Raiders.
Raiders.
Texas Tech Raiders. Yeah, Chris Berman. Channel him there. J-Lo, 3:30 Eastern in a fun rivalry. Pittsburgh travels to West Virginia. West Virginia +7.5 at home.
Yeah, Pittsburgh looks really sharp, but I think West Virginia needs a rebound, especially at home. So give me West Virginia winning at home against Pittsburgh. Give them Pittsburgh their first loss.
Joey, 4:00 Eastern. Our guy Rocco Becht and the 14th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones travel to Arkansas State. Arkansas State +21.5 home underdogs at 4:00 Eastern.
Yeah, I'm a big Rocco Becht guy this year, so I'm not going to jump off his wagon now. I think they win that conference and blow out Arkansas State today.
J-Lo,
R.I.P. Rick Stroud.
Yeah, Rick Stroud, man. He'll be battling. He'll be battling in that one. 4:15 p.m. Eastern, UTEP +38.5 J-Lo at number 7th-ranked Arch Manning's Texas.
Yeah, give me Texas to cover that. I think they'll win big on UTEP.
JCU start us off with the other game of the day. A lot of Floridians are going to be watching. Florida's eyes will be on this one. 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Alex Golish and the 18th-ranked USF Bulls head down to 5th-ranked Miami. That'll be a fun one. 17.5-point spread. South Florida looking to become the first team this year to get 3 ranked wins against Boise State, Florida, and Miami. JC, what say you?
Give me the sweep! Horns up, baby!
Let's go.
USF does it. They do it. They pull off the miraculous. The program is turning around. Their stadium's being built. UCF is going to start to be a bigger draw for some of these Florida kids to come to, and that program is turning itself around with a third straight win against a ranked opponent.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Joey, what say you? The battle of 18 versus 5, USF at Miami, 4:30 Eastern, 17.5-point spread.
Yeah, and hopefully you get the CW network for those who are watching out there, because this game, for both teams being ranked, the CW's making big plays, I guess, as they got this big barn burner going on. I do like South Florida in the points. I can't decide if they're fully going to get the win. I'm not a huge Miami guy, so I hope they win, but they definitely cover this one on the CW.
J-Lo, what say you? South Florida, Miami?
Of course, it's going to be a tough environment, but I think Carson Becker's a joke. I don't think he's that good. So
Gee.
I think I like USF in the points, and I think they'll pull out a strong win by a field goal against Miami and do the impossible that no one thought they were going to do. So give me USF with the upset in Miami.
I got Miami winning the football game by about 14. I think USF shows some fight. I think they show tough game fight. I think they're going to fight their ass off, but Miami has looked really good in a little sample size this year, but they look pretty good against Notre Dame. Carson Beck looked like a revived man, and if you look at his numbers last year, they weren't bad at all, and a lot of people treated him like he was terrible. So give me South Florida to cover. I love what they're doing. I love what they've done. They'll still stay ranked in the top 25 even if they lose this one, but I think Miami does get the win by about 14. I'm taking South Florida.
Know your audience.
I'm taking South Florida with the points. Hey, we'll boo me. You want to boo me? Let's go. Boo me. Yeah, that's okay. I'm here for the truth, not for fireflies.
The
J-Lo
truth will set you free.
J-Lo, exactly. J-Lo, you get one of the games of the day, 5 o'clock Eastern, Middle Tennessee plus 10 at Nevada.
You're such a jerk. Game of the week.
No, I said Nevada covered the spread for sure. They're terrible. The Middle Tennessee is even worse. So
Middle Tennessee, come on, man. Have some faith in Middle Tennessee. I don't even know.
They're in the middle. They suck.
Are they in the middle of Tennessee? Where are they even located?
They're mid Tennessee. Maybe.
In the middle.
Joey, the fight in Anthony Gators are minus 2.5 at home in a battle of Florida. FAU at FIU, 6 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, and Middle Tennessee is located in the central part of the state, folks. So there you go. But I'm taking Anthony Gator and the boys. They look pretty impressive against Penn State. I'm been waiting for Penn State to shoot one up, and they still haven't done it. FIU comes away strong victory. I liked what they
Well, they did week 1 against Nevada, but yeah, last week.
They didn't cover, though. Nevada had the backdoor cover.
Yeah, but, they were up like 46-3.
Backdoor is easier.
Couple minutes like, hey, there you go. A lot of less guarding
when your
going on
socks are
back
off.
there. But yeah, shout out to Anthony Gator. They're impressing me so far this year. Head coach Willie Simmons has those guys playing. They're the real team in Miami, right? Who the hell are the Hurricanes? We're here for the FIU Panthers, and I think that they win this one as well. JCL on 7 o'clock Eastern, 17th ranked Ole Miss, minus 6.5 against Arkansas Razorbacks.
Give me Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss in the points.
J-Lo, number 1 ranked Ohio State, minus 29 points against Ohio in-state rivalry, 7 o'clock Eastern.
I think Ohio covers the points a little bit. I don't think they're going to get beat that bad because they're actually not that terrible of a team. They're actually pretty competitive.
Joey, we'll start with you here. This is maybe the game of the night, 7:30 Eastern. 16th ranked Texas A&M travels to your number 8th ranked Fighting Irish, minus 6.5. The Fighting Irish are.
Yeah, Irish are coming off a bye week. Carr at QB, Lloyd Carr, grandson, of course. They started the game slow, but that was more
grandson of Derek Carr.
No, yeah, not that relation, but we do got the Lloyd Carr connection from the ex-coach of Michigan. But I think he plays very well today. They had a bye week last week, which was killing me this early in the season. A&M, we played them at their house last year and won. I think we beat them pretty dang good today. I think I won't say 14-point win. I don't know what we're considering a blowout, but I think Notre Dame covers pretty easily, and they show a big home performance on NBC tonight.
Rudy.
JC, are you going with Rudy and the boys?
Yeah, I've always been a closet Notre Dame fan. I actually have a hat from 7th grade that is destroyed and smells as bad as you can believe. But I held on to it because it's my Notre Dame hat, and I've always been a big Fighting Irish because growing up, I thought I was Irish. I even have a clover tattoo on my body. I did a 23andMe in Ancestry, and I am 5% Irish, so fuck me.
Hey, you're Irish, Joe. 5% is better than
5%, whatever.
Join me in the closet.
I got red beard hair, so it counts. My son's a ginger, too, so it came too strong.
Your son's a great kid as well, but yeah, JC, that hat probably smells as good as Joey's sock under his bed.
I was gonna say,
oh my God.
I was gonna say J-Lo's
feet.
You beat me to it. You beat me to it.
J-Lo, thoughts on A&M Notre Dame, 7:30 Eastern?
No, I think Notre Dame's gonna win big at home after being off a bye week, and plus losing Miami. But I think they recover well, and they'll end up beating A&M at home. Give me Notre Dame.
Bud Cannibal says Saban has Notre Dame winning out. So is it going to be a repeat of last year where Notre Dame drops one early, wins out, and makes the playoffs? We'll see. Joey, 7:30 Eastern. And again, if you guys want to get our in-depth Florida Gators coverage, catch the Campus Kickoff weekly. J-Lo hosts the Gator Bites segment where we take a deep dive into the swamp of Florida football, but we still talk about it here as well. Joey, Florida traveling to 3 ranked LSU, 7:30 Eastern, LSU -7. Let's not forget, Florida got a big upset against LSU just a season ago. That's why Brian Kelly's freaking out. You can't fire Billy Napier. He's a hell of a coach. It's like, dude, just because he beat you last year, now you're sticking your neck out for this guy. Just fun.
I'm really hoping Florida comes through in this one. I don't feel overly confident about it. I didn't like what I saw at points against USF last week on their home field. Now they got to go into a hostile environment where I know they're used to it. So that gives me some hope. But sadly, I think finally LSU is starting to break through a little bit this year. I've been lucky to this point because Brian Kelly's been a sucker and a loser his time there to this point. But I do think they win by I'll say they win by 7 and the spread 6.5.
He is a sucker, as Booker T says. Sucker. I agree with that. Not a big Brian Kelly guy. But again, if you want our in-depth Gator coverage, go on to the Campus Kickoff with yours truly, J-Lo, and go ahead and listen to that show, and you'll get even a deeper dive into the swamp over there. JC, 7:45 Eastern, Vanderbilt +3 at 11th ranked South Carolina. South Carolina, one of the first-round pick darlings of next year, perhaps at quarterback.
Yeah, I think South Carolina keeps it going. When you got a quarterback, it makes a hell of a difference. And they've got a really good one. So I just want to touch on the Florida game real quick. When I was – obviously, you guys know I'm from New England, so I don't really have – college football isn't anything up there. So when I've been trying to come down here and figure out which team I wanted to root for in Florida, Florida automatically jumped out because – it's a cool logo. It's the Gators or anything like that. But I don't know. I think I'm torn between USF and Florida. So maybe J-Lo can pitch me on which one I need to start rooting for down here.
J-Lo, you could help pitch him that. And while you do that as well, give us 20th ranked Utah -24 at Wyoming, 8 o'clock Eastern.
No, Utah should beat Wyoming. But back to what your discussion is. Gators win championship. USF has a no disrespect to the program. Right now, Florida's dealing with some not great coaching, in my opinion, and game management. And I feel like if they improve that, they'll win more football games than lose. So that's my opinion on Florida when it comes to throwing you a pitch that Florida is a winning program in certain other sports besides just football. And that's another reason why I put that over USF.
Our guy Jimmy Coletta says, fire the damn cannons, baby. Richard says, gotta run, have a kick-ass day. Joey, close us out with college. Minnesota -2.5 at Kel, 10:30 Eastern.
Battle of the undefeated. This is actually a big game for both teams. If they
It's a very big game if they want to make the playoffs.
I'll say since Minnesota's, as we always say, going from almost not quite the East Coast, but all the way to the West, I'll say California gets it at home and wins by a touchdown.
We're going to move from the world of college football to the world of pro football and quickly do our fantasy football mash report before we get around to our Red Eyes Pick'em. JCL, and we're going to start with you here. JC, who are you starting in a half-point PPR league at the flex? Your choices are Jacoby Myers, Kareem Hunt, and Isaiah Pacheco.
Are you just listing off your fantasy team this week because you're trying to get the heads up on the on the competition? No.
What I do is if we don't get questions, which we answered some in the show, I just make it easy, go to my rosters and pick a couple guys. I'm not going to change him. I'm not going to start. Jacoby Myers is starting for me, but I'd like to ask you.
No, Jacoby Myers for sure.
I just don't trust that Kansas City backfield, I don't know who's going to end up getting the upper hand out of that one.
Hey, well, if you're asking fantasy questions, let me ask a fantasy question to you.
Yeah, I need one asked to me anyways, so go for it.
All right, well, okay. Would you start Mark Andrews at Cleveland or Juwan Johnson against the Niners?
I'd start Mark Andrews. He was a guy who started slow last year. And then as the season went on, he picked up. I think Baltimore, is a helter-skelter playbook type. I think last week they didn't involve him. I think this week he might sneak into the end zone. Although Cleveland, they do have a daunting linebacker task against those tight ends. But Bud Cannibals agrees with me. So there we go. Joey, I'll switch teams just to make JC happy. I won't pick off my roster. But Joey, you get out of you got to start 2 out of these 3, Joey. Who are you going with? This is non-PPR. Tony Pollard, Jaylen Warren, and DJ Moore. Tony Pollard, Jaylen Warren, DJ Moore, non-PPR, 2 out of those 3.
I'm going to start Pollard and Moore, even though it is non-PPR. Seattle's defense is pretty good, and even though Pittsburgh put up a ton of points, it seemed to come mostly thanks to Rodgers for the most part. And Tone, since you're always looking for questions, can I get one right back at you?
Yeah, feel free.
This might be a little bit actually, I'll just go QBs because I've been thinking about this all day. I need a win in this league. I got Patrick Mahomes as my QB1, but they're playing the defending champion Eagles. I also have Justin Herbert on my bench playing the Vegas Raiders. What do you think about those 2 AFC West QBs?
I'd go Mahomes. That's tough.
I never want to bench Mahomes, but it's tough.
I'd go Herbert only because I think the Chiefs might, keep it more of a ground game. Worthy might be out, right? So that's a big deal for them as well. They need to get Pacheco and Kareem Hunt going. They didn't really do that last week. They do need a win so Mahomes could pull off some Mahomian type things. But Herbert looked really good in a Chargers pass-first offense last week. And their backfield ain't as loaded as it was a year ago. So I'll go Herbert. And I always like having that Monday Night Football insurance policy as well because you could be up and then you clinch and you don't even need the quarterback. Or if you do, but Jimmy Coletta saying Herbert as well. So there you go.
I got one for J-Lo.
Yep, go ahead.
J-Lo, would you start DeMario Douglas, RJ Harvey, or Juwan Johnson in your flex?
Just drop everyone at that point. No, I'm kidding.
Tough one. No, give me Douglas. Give me Douglas.
Or wild card, Quinshon Judkins.
Give me Harvey, just because the touch game, I think, but don't have. J-Lo, you won the fantasy mashup with Bud Cannibals, Pollard or Swift, running back 2, my friend. Then we're moving on to Red Eyes Pick'em and breadwinners and final word.
Give me Swift. I like Swift over Pollard.
I like
There,
Swift.
I like. I'm gonna be the pain in the ass and go Tony Pollard here. I really, the Bears' offense last week just they didn't do it for me. Not that Pollard had, but he had 18 carries for 60 yards at least, and a couple.
I like
of
that Ben Johnson knows his personnel inside and out on the defensive side of the ball, and I think he's going to have some things schemed up to be able to get the ball in his Swiss hands.
Not disagreeing with you by any. That one's
It's
a
really
toss
more of a
up
matter
for
of Caleb could get it there. I like Ben Johnson too.
I agree with
Caleb
that.
can't complete some passes to the flat and some screen passes to DeAndre Swift, and I'm with Colin Cowherd, and it's time to move on from him.
Yeah, hey, the new Chicago native, Colin Cowherd, he's sticking up for his hometown Bears. So, that guy, man, always something with him. But moving on from Fantasy Match Report to Red Eyes Pick'em, our honorary segment to remember the great Ken Rubright. It was just his birthday on 9/11 as well. I do want to give a quick shout out as we remember all of those who have fallen on 9/11. Very impactful week as well with the assassination on Charlie Kirk. Red Eyes birthday in honor of the Red Eyes Pick'em segment. So just a terrible week. Hug your loved ones. Always pray and keep moving forward, sadly, and just be there for people. But we can't live afraid, people. Keep going out and doing what you do. And pray for that sweetheart who got stabbed on the train as well. Just terrible. But NFL Red Eyes Pick'em time. We're going to continue. Bud Cannibalist, I agree. Cow turd, he says. Cow turd. Jimmy Coletta, nothing stronger than the fight and will of an American patriot. I agree, Jimmy. I agree, brother. There we go. And thank you for your service as you served our country. So we always appreciate those who do serve our country. The great Jimmy Coletta did that. Joey, we're starting you with Red Eyes Pick'em. Again, spreads are thrown out the window for these. Seahawks at Steelers, 1 o'clock Eastern.
And thank you, Jimmy Coletta, for your service. And thank you for jinxing my Colts because you said they were terrible. So I appreciate you on both of those notes. God bless America. You said Patriots, Dolphins.
Seahawks, Steelers. You were close.
Yeah, my mind. That's how good my scrambled eggs up there. I think Steelers do get this one since they're a home team. I do think home field plays a huge factor in this game. Rodgers, maybe he is, kind of like Brett Favre when he revived his career with that last time around with Minnesota, making the NFC Championship. Maybe Rodgers does, so I go Steelers in a small win.
J-Lo, Browns, Ravens, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Usually the Browns give Ravens fits, but not today. Not so fast. Ravens win.
JC, you're getting the Bears taking on the Lions in Detroit, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, Lions got a rebound. They got a rebound. Bears aren't there yet. I think it's going to be a fun matchup of, two teams that know each other really well and now know each other even more so really well. But the Lions can't lose again. They screwed my parlay last week. I'll kill them.
Rams at Tennessee. Give me the Rams. That game's at 1 o'clock Eastern. I think they'll win an ugly one. Low-scoring affair there. Joey, Mac Jones and San Fran travel to Spencer Rattler in New Orleans at 1 o'clock Eastern.
What a dumpster fire we have here. We're already hitting. It's like, I know he's the starter, but it's already backup versus backup in my eyes. I'll go San Fran by 7.
Yeah, only a matter of time before the rookie gets his chance over there, right? Tyler Shuck. So, Rattler, you need a big game, buddy. I don't see it happening. Buffalo at New York in the Battle of New York. J-Lo, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Give me Buffalo. New York showed some strides last week, but give me Buffalo.
How ironic. JC gets his game. The Pats at Miami, 1 o'clock Eastern. Vrabel, McDaniel. JC, who you got?
Yeah, I want to say Pats. They're in Miami, so I'm not going to pick them. I do think they make the playoffs this year as a wild card, but I don't know. Miami just gives them a whole world of trouble, so nah.
Yeah, Jimmy, I do agree with you, but I think San Fran's still the better team, even with Purdy banged up. I truly do. Joey, you get Duval on the road in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow only has 2 wins in his time in the NFL in the first 2 weeks of the season, one of them coming last week.
Yeah, and sadly, on towing the line last week, I had to give the Jaguars a little credit. If you want your Sundays, check out that through the Buccateers podcast on my show, Towing the Line, where I give you some dessert treats for tomorrow. This one, I'm going to go. Who do you like in this one? You know what? Screw it. I'm going Bengals. I want to put my Jaguars hate out of the way, but it's hard to do at times. I think Joey B and the offense put up 30 points tomorrow. Bengals win.
Yeah, I like the Bengals in a good bit there as well by 10 or so. J-Lo, Cowboys at home against the Giants, 1 o'clock Eastern to round out the 1 o'clocks.
I think Cowboys rebound. I think Cowboys a little bit better than the Giants at the moment. Giants aren't there yet, so give me Cowboys at home.
JC Allen, the great JC of Bucs Game Day Pirate Parlay Podcast, 4:05 Eastern, Carolina at Arizona. Does Dave Canales pull one out?
Nah. I do think the Panthers are going to be an improved team, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on this Arizona Cardinals team, and I think they keep the ball rolling with a win against the Carolina Panthers.
Yep, I like that. Joey, Eagles at Chiefs, 4:25 Eastern in a Super Bowl rematch. Mahomes hurts.
Hardest game for me to predict because not really because of the rematch in itself, but the Chiefs lost that game week 1 where they look sluggish. They're at home. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on a last-second field goal and a nail-biter.
Falcons at Vikings, Sunday Night Football, 8:20 Eastern on the NBC. Give me the Vikings at home. They look battle-tested on the road in Chicago last week. McCarthy looked better as the game went on. I like what Minnesota's doing on defense a lot over there. And J-Lo, you get to round us out Monday night. For you East Coasters, have fun staying up to 1 a.m. if the Bucs win in celebration as the Chargers travel to the Raiders of Vegas. 10 o'clock Eastern Monday night, J-Lo.
Believe it or not, the Raiders could give them a tough game, but I like Herbert and the Chargers to go up there and win in a close one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Speaking of love it, you are listening to the Buccateers for a few more minutes here. Gambling advice and final words coming. Our breadwinners of the weekend. You could hit the like button, subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. If you're listening at home on the YouTube, we appreciate it greatly. Super chats are appreciated, memberships, and everything else. We appreciate you guys a lot for helping grow the show. And you could catch us live every Tuesday on Tune Me Up Tuesday as we get ready for the big Bucs game of the week. We're always live 6 o'clock Easterns on Tuesdays, and then we're always live 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern on Saturday mornings with our Saturday Showdown weekend of football kickoff show. And then we got Campus Kickoff with J-Lo gearing you up for college. That releases the first college game of the night. So say when Tuesday nights start, it'll release Tuesdays. When Wednesdays start, it'll release Wednesdays. Right now, releasing on Thursdays. Then we got Toe in the Line with Joey Nips, getting you ready for all things football. That releases Thursdays around lunchtime. Then you got Man Cave Mondays a couple times a month with Zach and myself, recapping Bucs game, getting you ready for Bucs games and talking all things Man Cave. And then A-Cats and I will have a Bucs Tampa sports history show in general, and J-Lo will be the backup for that if me or Cats ever need to miss a show. Last week was a little rough in breadwinners, ladies and gentlemen, but we're still positive on the year as our guy Ryan O'Media joins us on Facebook, the great Tampa realtor Dave Ferrara joining us, but we're still 13-8 plus $68 coming off a 1-3 week. Cats had the only win last week, but it's time for breadwinners and final words for the program here. It flew by as always does, but time to get our butts on the couch for college football, having a little brouhaha here later with the gents. J-Lo, breadwinner, final word. You start us off, my friend.
I'm going to go with Arkansas with the upset at Ole Miss. I believe the spread's plus 55 for Arkansas, so give me Arkansas.
You mean plus 6.5?
Yeah, thank you. Plus 6.5. But give me Arkansas with the upset. That's my breadwinner. And final word is, Gators at LSU. It's time for a rebound. I think Florida's going to be going in really pissed off. I think they're going to go in there and give LSU a fucking rough outing. I'll tell you what, Florida is going to win the game tonight. I think redemption starts. I like what the team's coming together, putting together a game plan to beat LSU. They beat them last year. They're going to do it again tonight. Mark my words. That's my final word. Go Gators. Fuck LSU. Fuck Brian Kelly. Go Gators.
Love it, love it, love it. JC Allen, J-Lo took the Arkansas Razorback spread. What's your final word for the program? Where can people keep up with your great work? And what say you on a breadwinner?
Come back to me. I'm still figuring out my breadwinner. You guys know I'm not a huge gambler, so I'm trying to do my research real quick. Come back.
We love that. We love that. We love that. Joey, who's your breadwinner and what's your final word, brother?
Yeah, I wish my breadwinner would have been better last week, but Iowa State, Iowa, they never know how to score. I am 3-0 on toeing the line, though, so be careful for your Thursday night bets there. Maybe it's a little day of the week that I'm better on than this one. I almost was going to go against what J-Lo is saying because I wanted to do Clemson pretty badly because Georgia Tech hasn't really played much competition, but I'm going to go to the National Football League. I think the Titans getting 5.5 at home is a lot of points. They just came off a tough game versus Denver where their defense played very well. And you know what? It's their home opener, so I like Titans plus 5.5.
All right, I like that. Titans plus 5.5. Sticking with the AFC South there, so that'll be interesting. I'll go, and then JC will go to round it out. I'm going to go in the world of college football. This game is a weird kickoff time today, 2:00 Eastern. I got Ball State money line home against New Hampshire. Ball State needs a big win. They're 0-2. New Hampshire ain't even
barn burner.
New Hampshire ain't even eligible. Ball State, $20 bet would win you $16 on the money line. Yeah, it is a barn burner. What can you do? Sometimes that's how these things work, but I do feel pretty damn good about that one. Again, Ball State money line. And my final word is fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs, go Bucs, go Bucs on Monday. Go Colts tomorrow. Once again, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone after a very long week here in America. Assassination, 9/11, Red Eye's birthday as we honor a segment for Red Eyes. So just a bunch of tough stuff we had on our plate here at the Buccateers. But we survive as we always do and move on. And God bless you all. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Gotta love having the mentally disabled on the podcast. Falcons run the NFL. You guys lost week 1. So
his name's
really
Kenny. He's been sipping the bottle too much.
Running back came out and said that you were outmatched, outcoached in the running game. Your running back, Bijan Robinson, arguably the best running back in the league, said that they were outcoached, and you're going to come on and spew that take? Falcons run the NFL. Falcons can't even run on the Bucs, bruh.
Yeah, bruh.
From a Pats fan, 28-3. Never fucking forget.
Yes, sir. And by the way, may I add, Henny again? Bijan Robinson said Todd Bowles had him running mind games. So there you go, my friend. Not sure what you're talking about, but enjoy your early morning, Henny. That's for damn sure. JC, you got a breadwinner for us yet?
You know what? It's not a breadwinner because it's not a lock, but I do have a certain feeling in my gut. And my sister-in-law reaches out to me every Friday and asks me for my picks, so she's in a survivor pool. And I told her I got a strange feeling that the Jags might beat the Bengals this week. Now we're plus 3.5, so it's not like it's not a huge out payment unless you're betting big, but I have a strange feeling that Bengals defense is not there. And if Cohen can get the kinks worked out in this second game, I think this could be a one where the Jags upset the Bengals here. So I'll go with that as my breadwinner.
Wow, and as you give us your final word, Bud has a celebrity shot and says Tyler Warren TD. So we do add those into our record. Won a show. Bud, you got it in first, so you get that. Our guy Jimmy Colettis is Bucs over Texans all day. Thanks for the great show and parlay advice, boys. Keep this going. And once again, JC is Jag spread. J-Lo is Arkansas spread. Joey is Titan spread. Tones Ball State money line. JC, last word before we get out of here, brother.
Yeah, final thoughts. I think the Bucs are a team to really watch. And I think this is a week they put up teams on notice. and beat another potential contending team on Monday Night Football. Get the monkey off their back from the primetime games. Start a little mini win streak here, and I think they handle their biz and get one for Mike, get one for this team, get some revenge. Again, I'm high on this Bucs team. I think Super Bowl could be in their sights as long as they continue to do what they're doing. I think they're gonna keep doing that this week against the Texans.
And Bucs fans will love hearing that. We love hearing the great JCL, and on the Pirate Parlay podcast and Bucs SI Game Day. JC, you're doing great, brother. We appreciate it. J-Lo, we appreciate you. Joey Nips, Tampa Tones, the rest of the Buccateers. Everybody have a great football weekend, and fire the damn cannons. Go Bucs, you all. JC, J-Lo, be safe, fellas.
If you're in Houston, hit me up. Send me a DM. I'll come hang out.
Wow, there you go. The great JCL, and do a meet and greet for $9.99. Not a bad price. No, I'm just kidding.
Cheaper than the WWE.
JC, J-Lo, Tampa Tones, Joey Nips, fire the damn cannons. We'll see you guys next time on the Buccateers. Peace. Bro, we'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland